In this video, we're going to talk about geometric progression, and we're going to look into examples that deal with the first term, the common ratio, and the sum of terms of a geometric progression. We start off by talking about the meaning of geometric progression. A progression generally is a collection of numbers. So this could be a progression 4, 5, 6. But a geometric progression is a progression whereby if you have a number, to get the next number in the set of numbers, you multiply this number by a constant term. Say my constant term here is 2, so I'll say 2 times 2. The next term will be 4. My next term will be multiplied by that same constant term. So this will be 4 times 2, which will be 8. The next term will be multiplied by that same constant term. This will be 8 times 2. That will be 16. And then you do it like that. So whenever you have a set of numbers where each successive number is gotten by multiplying the preceding number by a constant term, then you have a geometric progression. The first term in a progression is often denoted by letter A. The constant term that you use to get the next term is called the common ratio, and we write it as equal to R. Let's look into examples of the geometric progression. In this problem, we are told to write down the first 5 terms of the geometric progression, which has a first term of 1 and a common ratio of half. Let's start out writing solution. We know that our first term is already given in the question. So our first term in the GP, our first term is 1. To get our next term, like I said before, we multiply it by a constant value. The constant value here is simply the common ratio. So I would say 1 times half. 1 times half is simply 1 times 1 is 1 and then over 2. 1 times half is 1 over 2. To get our next term, we multiply half by our common ratio. So if I multiply half by half, I get 1 over 4. To get our next term, I still do the same multiplication. This will now be 1 over 8. Then to get our final term, that's our 5th term, we now say 1 over 8 times 1 over 2, which will be 1 over 16. So this is our first 5 terms of the geometric progression. Let's look into another example. This example is more complicated than the last one we faced. They are told to find the 10th and 20th term of the GP with the first term of 3 and common ratio of 2. So we write solution. We write out our givens. They are told that our first term is 3. So we write A as equal to 3. They are told that our common ratio is 2. We write R is equal to 2. Then we are told to find our 10th and 20th term of our GP. So we are told to find 10th term, and then we are told to find the 20th term. Before we find out anything, the formula for finding the nth term of a geometric progression is, say, Cn is equal to A times R to the power of n minus 1. So this helps us find the nth term of a geometric progression. Nth is simply any term. So if I say nth, it could mean the 20th term or the 30th term or the 40th term. I say the 10th term. The n here will represent 10. The n here will represent 10. This is the formula we'll be using to solve this problem. So let's quickly use the formula. For the first one, we are told to find the 10th term. So we write down C of n is equal to A times R to the power of n minus 1. This will now be equal to A is 3, so this will be 3, times R is 2. In this case, since we are finding the 10th term, our n here will be 10. This will be 10 minus 1. Always note that the power belongs to the r, not to the 8 and the r. Here we now have 3 times 2 to the power of 10 minus 1 is 9. So that I have this is equal to T10. This will be T10 here. If I clean up space, so this is 3 times 2 to the power of 9 is 512. T10 is then equal to 3 times 512 is 1536. So this is the 10th term of our geometric progression. Now to find the 20th term. By the way, you can pause the video and try to find the 20th term yourself. Well, let's move on. To find the 20th term, we know that our n is 20. And then write out our formula. So we know that our formula is T of n is equal to a r n minus 1. We can now plug everything into it. That T of 20 will be equal to 3 times 2, open brackets, 3 times 2 to the power of 20 minus 1. This will now be equal to 3 times 20 minus 1 is 19, so we have 2 to the power of 19. From here, this will be equal to 3 times 2 to the power of 19 is equal to 524,288. So if I multiply this by 3, I'll get my 20th step, T20, will be equal to 1,572,864. So that was how to find the 10th stem and the 20th stem. Let's look into extra problems, so I hope you understand. So for this problem, we are told to find the 7th stem of the GP, 2, minus 6 and 18, and then dots. The GP extends to infinity. We write out our solution. What are the informations we are given here? The first one is that we know that our first step is 2. We were not given our common ratio directly, but we can find our common ratio using a formula. Our common ratio can be found using a formula of the n plus 1 term over nth term. If we were to look into our first term, this would be 1 plus 1, which would be 2. So this would be our second term over first term. Or it could be our third term over our second term. So we can just pick any 2 we like here and divide it. Then the answer will be our common ratio. In this case, our common ratio will be, let's pick our third term and our second term. So that we'll say 18 divided by minus 6. So that this will be 18 divided by minus 6 is minus 3. Our common ratio is minus 3. And then we are told in the question that we will find our 7th term. So to find our 7th term, we bring the nth term formula. The nth term formula is simply T of n is equal to ar to the power of n minus 1. In this case, n will be 7, so T of 7 is equal to 2 times minus 3. This minus 3 will be in brackets here, and the power here will be 7 minus 1. So that T of 7 will be equal to 2 times, or minus 3 is in brackets. 7 minus 1 is 6. If you're pressing this in the calculator, make sure this is in a bracket before you power it. So I know that T of 7 will be equal to 2 times minus 3 to the power of 6 is 729. So that T of 7 will be equal to 1458. Now that we looked at how finding the nth term of a geometric progression, let's go further into looking at the sum of geometric progression examples. So we already have a problem on the screen. I told to find the sum of the geometric series 2, 6, 18, where there are 6 terms in the series. First things first, I think I should tell you the formula for finding the sum of the geometric progressions. Let's call the sum of the geometric progression S of n. Now to find it, we simply use this formula A open brackets r to the power of n minus 1 close brackets divided by r minus 1, or we use S of n is equal to A open brackets 1 minus r to the power of n over 1 minus r. So you can choose to use this one or this one. Let's use this formula to solve the problem on the screen. So I'll clean up space. To start off with the problem, we simply write out the solution, and then we know that our givens from our question, the first term is 2, so we write A as equal to 2. So for our common ratio, we can simply pick any number here and divide it by the previous number. So I'll just be saying the fourth term over third term. So the fourth term is 54 divided by third term, which is 18. 54 divided by 18 is 3. And then we are told that the terms in the series is 6 terms. So our n value will be equal to 6. So we are told to find the sum of the series. Remember, the series is 6 terms. So I'll write x of 6. To start solving this problem, I will simply write my formula for sum of the series, which is S of n is equal to A open bracket r to the power of n minus 1 over r minus 1. From here I have Sn is equal to A is 2 open bracket r is 3 to the power of n is 6 minus 1 divided by r, which is 3 minus 1. From here I have equal to 2 open brackets 3 to the power of 6 is equal to 7 to 9 minus 1 divided by 3 minus 1 is 2. So we know that 2 here can cancel out 2 here, so that this will be equal to 7 to 9 minus 1. 7 to 9 minus 1 is 7 to 8. So that's the sum of this geometric series. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. You can help me share with your friends. For anything that you do not understand, you can comment below. I will make a video for you. Thanks for watching the video.